pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business today will be employee recognition. Sheriff Langenfeld.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
The Association of Minnesota Emergency Managers, also called AMM, recently recognized our Emergency Management Director, Kevin Matthews, at their annual awards banquet. Kevin received the Commendation for Meritorious Service and the Award for Outstanding Performance in Emergency Management. According to AMM, awards for meritorious service are made to distinguished and longtime members of AMM in the emergency management field. AMM shared that Kevin was chosen to receive the Performance Award for Outstanding Performance by any member in furthering the objectives of emergency management in their jurisdiction or agency, and/or the association and emergency management in Minnesota, for a culmination of outstanding performance both this year and through the past 25 years. Kevin, if you want to come up, congratulations, and thank you for your continued service to McLeod County. Did you want to say something?
I could. Yeah, you should. You should do that, Kevin, yes.
Those are some heavy awards.
As a good emergency manager, I'm always prepared.
Yep.
At least I try to think I am. So thank you, commissioners, for taking time out of your meeting today to recognize my recent awards. As Sheriff was said, I received these awards back on September 19th at Breezy Point Resort in Breezy Point, Minnesota at our annual banquet. I am very humbled and honored to receive these awards. I'd like to thank the MM Board of Directors and the Awards Committee for electing me. So I got a lot of thanks to a lot of people. Emergency management also takes more than just one person for it to run successfully. So thank you, commissioners, county administration, for your support, as well as the previous commissioners and administrators for your support over the last 25 years that I've been emergency management director. Some of the players include our McLeod County employees, cities, townships, Department of Public Safety, Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, FEMA, voluntary agencies, and several others that support our mission. Thank you, Sheriff Tim Langenfeld, Chief Deputy Aaron Ward, as well as Communications Sergeant Jen Otto and the rest of the communications team. I'd also like to thank the entire Sheriff's Office and all others across the county for putting up with my numerous emails asking for information on road closures, damages, and other related information. So sometimes I get a little bit of grief on that. I'd also like to thank my wife, Becky, for almost 25 years of marriage. At the end of this month, with some early mornings, coming home late, and several night meetings, and being gone, your support does not go unnoticed, so thank you. Responded to several emergencies over the last 25 years. Some of them are Y2K, the Buffalo Lake tornado, and many other severe weather incidences. Even this past weekend, there's hazardous materials incidents, mass casualty response, airplane crashes, bus crashes, state federal disaster declarations, windstocks, county fairs, COVID-19 pandemic, and smoke and air quality issues, just to name a few. We must also be prepared and ready to respond to these incidents when that situation does arise. McLeod County has also participated in several tabletop exercises and full-scale exercises over the years to practice our response. As we kind of look into the future, I think emergency management agencies are planning for climate change. We can see that as recent as this past weekend with the marathon closing because of extreme heat. In October, we're seeing longer severe weather seasons. And stuff there that we've seen. We're also looking at increased funding through the state legislature. We've been trying to lobby for money for the last 6 years, and we're continuing to support emergency management financially as a state as well. So thank you again for taking your time today to recognize me and the efforts of emergency management, and I humbly accept these awards on behalf of everybody that's involved in emergency management, from our commissioners to our newest employees. It really does take a whole team, so thank you.
Kevin, we'd love to take a photo of you with commissioners and the sheriff and chief deputy.
Sure.
You want to just stand right up here?
Okay, sounds good.
Becky, do you want to join?
Entire stage here. Probably it's a little tighter stage than we're used to, so stand up here in front. Good work, Kevin.
No, it should be okay. Yeah, I don't think you can.
How far?
Right there.
Aaron's smiling.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Good job, Kevin.
It's a great way to start a meeting to have one of our employees recognized by their peers with such an award. So good job again, Kevin. Next on our agenda will be consideration of agenda items. Do we have any additions or corrections to today's agenda?
No changes, Mr. Chair.
Move to approve.
Second. We have a motion by Nagel, second by Schmaltz to approve today's agenda items. Is there any discussion? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda.
No changes, Mr. Chair.
Move consent agenda, Mr. Chair.
Second.
We have a motion by Schmaltz, a second by Luthens to approve today's consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a number of proclamations today. Two of them will be first on our agenda. I'll just briefly read through the majority of the details. Of course, the complete documents are in our agenda. The first proclamation is for Cyber Security Awareness Month, October 2023. Whereas in our increasingly interconnected and digital world, the importance of cybersecurity cannot be overstated, and whereas the month of October has been designated as Cyber Security Awareness Month to raise awareness about the critical need for individuals, businesses, and organizations to protect themselves against cyber threats. Whereas the cyber threats continue to evolve, posing significant risks for our economy, national security, and personal privacy. And whereas our responsibility to educate and empower our citizens will be diligent and proactive in safeguarding their online presence and data. And there is more to that, but I'll just move on to the second one. The next proclamation will be Manufacturing Month for October 2023. Whereas manufacturing is a dynamic and robust industry, crucial to the health and strength of Minnesota's diverse economy, and whereas manufacturing has added $56 billion to Minnesota's economy in 2021, representing the second largest contribution at 14% to the state's gross domestic product by any industry, and whereas manufactured exports brought $22 billion to the Minnesota economy in 21, and whereas workers took home $23.4 billion in wages for Minnesota's manufacturing jobs in 2021, the second largest total payroll among private sector industries. And whereas manufacturing jobs in McLeod County reported an average annual wage of in excess of $73,000 in 2022, which is 37.2% higher than the county's overall average annual wage. And whereas manufacturing provides over 310,000 highly skilled, well-paying jobs throughout the state, which significantly contribute to the Minnesota's high standard of living and economic vitality. And whereas McLeod County has a strong and growing manufacturing industry with over 4,500 manufacturing jobs in 2022, representing 28.9% of the total jobs in the county. Now, there be resolved that I, Paul Wright, Chair of McLeod County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim October 23 as Manufacturing Month in McLeod County. So again, those proclamations are in our packet. We'll see one more of those shortly. But before we get there, we'll call the Sheriff's Office up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here for consider adopting Resolution 23 CB 44, authorizing McLeod County to be the fiscal agent and administer the Towards Zero Death TZD grant for the period October 1st, 2023 to September 30th, 2024.
Mr. Chair, is that just for McLeod County, or or are you keeping this for a regional area?
It's countywide, so we're in the grant would be for the police departments within McLeod County along
Gotcha.
with us. We usually rotate the fiscal agent every couple of years, and it's our turn.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Kruger, second by Nagel, to consider adopting Resolution 23 CB 44. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda, we'll call the University of Minnesota Extension up to the podium.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Denise Meese. I am the current interim educator for McLeod County 4-H. I'm filling in for Miranda Kepner. She's out on maternity leave right now. We're here with you today to declare this week as National 4-H Week. And Commissioner Wright has the proclamation to read, or did you want me to read it?
I can read it for you.
Okay.
The McLeod County 4-H Week Proclamation. Whereas 4-H is America's largest youth development organization, having supported almost 6 million youth across the country thus far. And whereas 4-H has helped 282 community club members and many other program participants this past year in McLeod County to become confident, independent, resilient, and compassionate leaders. And whereas 4-H is delivered by Cooperative Education, a community of more than 100 public universities across the nation that provide experiences where young people learn by doing in hands-on projects in areas including health, science, agriculture, and citizenship. Whereas National 4-H Week showcases the incredible experiences that 4-H offers young people and highlights the remarkable 4-H youth in McLeod County who work each day to make a positive impact on those around them. And whereas 4-H's network of 600,000 volunteers and 3,500 professionals provide caring and supportive mentoring to all 4-Hers, helping them grow into true leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Now, therefore, I, Paul Wright, McLeod County Board of Commissioner Chair, do hereby proclaim October 1st through the 7th, 2023, as 4-H Week throughout McLeod County, and encourage all of our citizens to recognize 4-H for the significant impact it has made and continues to make by empowering youth with the skills that they need for a lifetime.
Fantastic. Thank you for declaring it National 4-H Week. It is an honor to be here today with you, celebrating the nation's largest youth development program. As I said, I'm Denise. I'm filling in for Miranda. She's out on maternity leave. She is the new educator for McLeod County 4-H. She is home with her new child that she had, and she will return the end of November. And I know she was sad she couldn't be here today, but she'll come back and introduce herself when she returns, and she'll be excited to do that. Also, to help celebrate the week, we've brought some of our 4-Hers. We have our Federation officers, our President Shelby Swanson, and Treasurer Avery Coles, and also Glencoe Junior Pioneers Treasurer Charlie Nelson is with us, and they're going to share with us as well all about 4-H. So with that, we'll just get going. So a little bit about our demographics. We have 9 community clubs, and we had 282 community club members this year. We had 385 summer program participants, and also 112 screen volunteers with us. And then some of our summer programming, we were able to do 4 of our summer school programs: the Panther Adventure Club, Lester Prairie, Kids Depot, First Lutheran Church Flames of Faith, and the Hutchinson's Tiger Elementary Bridge Club. There we went in, and we went there in June and July, and we visited them once a month. We did an activity with them for an hour, just kind of shared with them what 4-H does in the community. It was a lot of fun. And then we had 2 of our summer camps this year, one in June and one in July. We started with the weather and the water cycle summer camp, and that was there at the fairgrounds in Hutchinson. And we just went through the weather patterns and how they affect the growing seasons of our crops, and kind of went through the different kinds of weather. And they did fun activities like a tornado in a bottle. They had a lot of fun. And that kind of paired well with our next day camp, which was the Plant Power Mystery Day Camp. We just talked about plants, how they grew, what they needed to grow, that kind of thing. We also did the Hutchinson Library program. That was fun. There's a picture there of the kids who came. We asked some of our 4-H'ers to come and share their animal science projects with the kids at the library. And we had a good turnout. There was 200 youth there. They just explained what the different projects do and how to show them what it takes to raise these animals. And then we also talked about animal safety at the fair, how to treat the animals at the fair. You know, don't go up and run at them, and just don't touch them unless you have the permission to touch them. Don't be sticking your finger in the cages, that kind of stuff. And that was a lot of fun. Some other highlights. We partnered up with another educator, Karen Johnson, for LQA&E training, and also her intern, Allison Wright. They came and helped us do the LQA&E with our youth. We did the fashion review, demonstration day, performing arts. We had our horse project practicing weekly. They also did clinicians came in at their practices and taught the kids different things about how to improve in their projects. The shooting sports practices went weekly, and they competed at the state invitational shoot in September. And then the dog practices, they were practicing weekly up in Wright County. Also, that I didn't squeeze in here because, as you can see, the page is full, was we had 5 animal science workshops. We had a dairy workshop, beef workshop, llama workshop, poultry workshop, and a goat workshop, where it gave the youth an opportunity to come, new and old, just to learn more about the animal science projects.
Before you switch the page, Mr. Chair, what is LQA&E?
I'm sorry, yes, that's livestock quality assurance and ethics training for the kids, so they can learn how to really talk about their animals to the public.
Wanted you to know I was paying attention, but I did not know what that was.
You wanted to quiz me to see if I could get that all out, didn't you? Yeah. Okay, well, if there's not any other questions, I'm going to turn it over to our president, Shelby Lang, and she's going to present just more of the numbers for the year.
Okay, my name is Shelby Swanson, and I'm going to share with you about the Showcase Participation Report. So we had 219 youth showcased in learning, 114 in the youth showcased animal projects, and 138 showed youth showcased static projects. So in the horse we had 171, the goat 136, the llama 12, sheep 46, poultry 156, swine 113, dairy 107, the beef 80, the rabbit 103, dog 11, and clover buds 51. Then for the static projects, we had 174 in the photo and videos, 222 in the fine arts and crafts, 46 in the food and nutrition, 10 in the science, 112 in the ag and horticulture, 72 in family and consumer education, 37 in the mechanic sciences, and 17 in the youth leadership, and 187 clover buds. So overall we had 2,532 projects registered and 1,900 projects exhibited. So we also had adult volunteers that helped us out. We had 68 volunteers served in the showcase and 57 judges who participated in the showcase. So next I'm going to talk to you about our livestock auction. This took place during the county fair. Auctioneering services were donated by Kathy Crone, Cheryl Isa of Minnesota Auctions and Jeff Martin Auctioneers. So we are very thankful that they were able to help us out. It happened on Saturday, August 19th, 2023. We had 72 youth participants that were able to showcase their animals, and we were able to raise $87,375 in premium sales and donations. Next, I'm going to have Avery Coles, our treasurer, come up and talk about the state fair.
At the 2023 Minnesota State Fair, we had 50 youth livestock project exhibitors, 31 youth static project exhibitors, and 5 screen chaperones. Now Charlie will come up and share about the State Fair honors.
Okay, I'm Charlie Nelson. I'm the treasurer for the Glencoe Junior Pioneers. At the state fair, we had 25 purple ribbons, 51 blue ribbons, 10 red ribbons, and 14 participation ribbons. We had 6 livestock grand champions, 4 livestock reserve champions, 12 interview finalists, and 5 livestock interview winners. For our second year in a row, we've won the overall herdsmanship award, and we had the 3rd place overall senior dairy cattle judging team and 4th place intermediate judging team for dairy. And we also had 4 dairy showcase participants with 2 rising stars. I'll pass it on to Leah now.
Hello, my name is Leah Larson. I'm the program leader for McLeod County 4-H in the whole central region. So I supervise 14 counties. McLeod is one of them. I'm Denise's supervisor, and I think you can see for many reasons we are just very proud of the McLeod County program. This is such a strong program with so much community support, and it really shows in the results that we get. We also had wonderful participation in state showcases. Over the month of September, there was a state shooting sports and wildlife invitational, which is held over in Alexandria, and we had 9 youth participate, 6 of those earning top placings. In state horse show that's held over at the fairgrounds, we had 6 participants with 7 top 10 placings. So that's you might notice that the placings are higher than the participants. The participants can compete in multiple disciplines. That's why. The same goes for state dog, where we had 1 youth go and 2 top placings for that 1 youth. So that's over at the fairgrounds as well. So McLeod County really cleaned up both at the state fair and in the other state showcases that we have for 4-H. Statewide, 4-H is doing wonderful. You know, it's helping our youth become leaders. We've got a noticeable reduction in youth engaging in risky behaviors, as well as an increase in youth pursuing STEM careers, getting better grades in school, as well as pursuing college education. Our youth are more likely to contribute positively in their families and communities, and more likely to exercise and be physically active. So just a really well-rounded range of outcomes that we have for our youth. And now our youth are going to share some impact statements and talk about how 4-H has impacted their lives, starting with Shelby. No? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Avery, sorry.
4-H has impacted me through the beef project and the auction, and the money I have received at the auction has helped me compete in national level shows and do very well.
Okay, my name is Shelby Swanson. I am very involved in the dairy project, so I'm going to share a couple of stories. So in May we had our dairy workshop, and I helped organize it, where I was able to share how I get my animal ready for the show, and we were able to present to 30 different kids, and kids came from different counties. At the county fair this year, I had the honor of showing with Nicole Dunne. She is a kid in the dairy project that has Down syndrome, so I was able to help her show her calf. She did very well. And then at the state fair, I was recognized for the 4-H showcase, and I received money where I am now able to take my dairy to the next level, and I was able to buy a cow 3 years ago, and I now got to show her calf, the 3rd generation, at county fairs, state fairs, and I was able to go to the World Dairy Expo with her this year. So 4-H has impacted me very positively through my leadership skills and both through my dairy project.
So through 4-H, I'm involved in dairy with Shelby, and this year I was on the intermediate judging team, and we made it to state fair. And one of the things that you have to do for that is you have to get a set of reasons. So you have to say what you like about this cow and what you like about this cow that puts her over the other one. So that really helps with leadership and public talking skills like this.
That was amazing. Thank you to our youth for coming and sharing with us today. We really appreciate you taking the time out of school and being here.
I'm sure they might be out of school.
Yeah, they probably don't mind that. They asked me if they had to go back. I'm like, well, it's either stay at the meeting or go back. But yeah, it's just a great experience to be invited here today to share with the commissioners and about this wonderful program and introduce our current leaders with our leaders of our future. So it's very impactful just today as for our youth. I guess with that, we'll go into just what we have upcoming events for 4-H. As we said, we're celebrating a lot of 4-H this week because it is National 4-H Week. We're going to do a kickoff for our ambassadors meeting at the end of October. We have our chartering coming up for all of our clubs in the county. Officers training and club leaders training and the volunteers training is all going to be November 18th up in Buffalo. And then the new family nights in December and a big party for our award celebration December 10th. If there's any questions or ideas that you have that you guys want us to be doing in 4-H or areas that we need to be focusing on, please let us know. Like I said, Miranda will be back end of November, and I'll be here for a little while longer. That's it for us. Thank you for having us.
Chair.
Yeah, good.
Real quick question again. Did I hear you say Shelby at World's Fair Expo? And where is that? In here?
That's held in Madison, Wisconsin, and it's still going on, and I got back yesterday.
Oh, really? Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, another one of our officers that wanted to come, she's actually there as well.
So you've been out of school for a while, so it's time to get back.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being able to join us here this morning and especially share your personal stories. There are little bits of information that come to the county board throughout the year about the things that you do, and I know I'm always anxious for that first meeting in September when I get to bring those state fair results and rattle them off here, and your page up there covered everything. It's just it's a joy to be able to read off the champions, the purple ribbons, but you don't really get a score of all the camaraderie that exists with that, and the ability for the older kids to teach the younger ones throughout the year and all those great experiences. And our program here in McLeod County is absolutely fantastic. We're there because of the superior community support, the great families, good staff, and of course board support. But we can't do it without the kids. So thank you.
Mr. Chair, no offense to the other presentations we get throughout the year, but this is probably our favorite, I would say. You always come with information. Your public speaking skills are amazing, much better than mine. And we really appreciate what you do, and please keep coming back, all right?
Perfect, thank you so much.
Oh, yes. We'll do a photo.
Yeah, definitely do a photo.
Probably should.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, newspaper, hold on. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll be on to item number 7, special meeting. Branch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This item is for the board seated as Drainage Authority. As it relates to County Ditch 18, there's been a special meeting notice for today's date. And there's two items for the ditch authority to consider. First is a short one, which is just a consideration of approval of the September 12, 2023 proceedings, and that those materials were included in your packet. So I would ask for review and approval of those.
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
Before we start that, I'd make a motion to open a special meeting and hearing for County Ditch 18.
Okay, thank you. We do have a motion to open the hearing for and special meeting for County Ditch 18. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we do have a motion from Kruger, second from Nagel to open special meeting for Ditch 18. Any discussion? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is consideration of a resolution of intent to initiate proceedings for alternative repair under Minnesota statute 103E 715 subdivision 6 as relates to County Ditch 18. I know board and drainage authority here is familiar with some of the chronic maintenance issues and costs that have been related to a section of CD 18, in particularly a section of tile that runs through some wooded area. As you all recall, at the September 12th meeting, we talked with owners along the ditch and as an authority about possibility and options, and one of the options considered was rerouting the tile as part of a repair to avoid some of these chronic maintenance costs and issues. And we discussed the possibility of a petition to do that. Really the thought process was, or the discussion from the board, we wanted to be transparent about what we're looking at doing, speaking to landowners about that, getting their input, and that realignment goes beyond what's sometimes classified as a simple repair. So what this is it's not a petition, but it would be a resolution of intent that discusses in the findings that are included in your packet, the repair history and what's necessary, and then it contemplates an order that directs staff to work on acquiring voluntarily, if at all possible, the required right-of-ways for a realignment here, and then secondarily, if necessary, an appointment of viewers and an instruction for them to calculate damages so that a repair report can be fully considered and the drainage authority can take appropriate action once we have that information. So this would also engage Bolden Mink as an engineering firm to prepare a report regarding the possibilities of repair here. So I would submit that at this time.
Okay. So Mr. Hench has gone through the two bullet items that we need to consider. So with the hearing open, let's grab the first one. That is the approval of the September 12th proceedings.
Move, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Schmalz, a second by Luthens to approve the September 12th proceedings of County Ditch 18. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Question, just making sure, clarifying that would include the minutes, correct? Within that, of that overall?
Yes.
We don't need to do that separately.
Yes, it would include the minutes, and those are included in the packet.
All right, very good, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yep.
And another comment, that meeting went very well. One of the better drainage meetings I've been on since, it was a good turnout for landowners and seemed to be, everybody on the same page, so I hope I don't jinx it.
Okay, we'll then proceed to vote on the approval of the September 12th proceedings. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move on to the resolution of intent.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Nagel, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Nagel, second by Kruger, to adopt a resolution of intent for the proceedings of alternative repair of County Ditch 18. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, is there a number for that resolution or no? Or you don't need one?
I don't believe, there isn't, I don't believe.
Okay, fine.
Is there any further discussion? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any other business that needs to be discussed on County Ditch 18?
Move to close the special public meeting.
Okay, we have a motion by Kruger to close. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Luthens. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Moving then on to environmental services.
Morning, everyone. 2 items for your consideration this morning. Item A is to consider approving an agreement to process and recycle infant and toddler car seats for Carver County Environmental Services through December 31st, 2025. Under this agreement, the Material Recovery Facility, MRF, at the McLeod County Environmental Services Building will charge the board-approved tip fee rate posted for the MRF within the McLeod County fee schedule. We do this for other counties, Wright County, Stearns County. Carver wanted a more comprehensive agreement, which is why you're seeing this today. Our policy at that facility has been in the past, is today, that if we do receive that material, they get recharged the tip fee if we do accept that material. So really no different than what we've done in the past, just a little bit more comprehensive policy agreement for Carver County. And we have sent that across to the attorney's office, so he has reviewed that and has given us thumbs up.
Okay. Comments, questions, or action items on it?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agreement with Carver County.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Kruger, second by Luthens, to consider approving an agreement to process and recycle infant and toddler seats with Carver County Environmental Services. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item B is to consider adopting resolution 23-CB-45 to authorize the McLeod County Small Business Recycling Service Subsidy Program. This program will provide a no or reduced cost option for small businesses generating approximately 5 tons or less per year of specific commodities. We did review this at our workshop a couple weeks ago, and this is for those small businesses that typically see 5 ton, which is the majority of our small businesses in the area, and we would waive that fee schedule so we can keep that material separate out of the rural recycling bins that we have on the west side of our facility, and keep that product a little bit more pure, which hopefully will help drive costs. So that being said, I'll entertain any questions. We've also sent this across to our attorney's office for review, and he has favorably reviewed that.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
As Mark said, we reviewed it at our workshop. I think it was a nice presentation, and I'm in favor of it, and I'll move the approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Nagel, a second by Kruger, to consider adopting resolution 23-CB-45, authorize McLeod County Small Business Recycling Service Subsidy Program. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Next up will be Health and Human Services, Barrett Spores.
Morning.
Good morning. I have one item for you today. Consider approving the Local Homeless Prevention Aid, also known as LHPA, service agreement with United Community Action Partnership, also known as UCAP, for the period of October 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2024, at a cost of $148,324 with LHPA funds from the Individual and Family Social Services Budget 11-430. The Local Homeless Prevention Aid Program was created by the 2021 Minnesota Legislature to help local governments ensure no child is homeless within a local jurisdiction by keeping families from losing housing and helping those experiencing homelessness find housing. McLeod County is one of those local jurisdictions and has been awarded $74,162 per year in 2023 and 2024. So as you'll recall, at the June 20th workshop, I brought this to the board. So we are receiving these dollars, but we are requesting that we enter into a grant agreement with UCAP for them to administer those funds on our behalf. Their initial agreement, County Attorney's Office reviewed, requested that we add some more specific language around the indemnification, insurance, record on auditing and retention and data practices, which they did, and you will find in this agreement. And so we are wanting to proceed with moving forward with that.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I attended the UCAP meeting for Commissioner Smalls this last week, and I got some answers and discussions, and we had discussion, and I appreciate that you guys went through the contract and got more specific to McLeod County, and from what I understand, if there's any funds left, I mean, they're all to be used in McLeod County, and if
Correct.
there is some left, you can move them on to another county if needed, or try to use them all in McLeod.
Yes, and I have no doubt that we'll be able to use those funds as they have been identified.
Yeah, and again, I would really appreciate that you went through it and did it specific to that. With that, I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Kruger, second by Schmaltz, to consider approving the local homeless prevention aid service agreement with United Community Action Partnership. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I think it shows that we can cooperate with UCAP, and it increases the presence in McLeod County with UCAP. And, maybe it's not a lot of money. It's not enough money for us to go out and create a position or even a half-time position. So I think it makes perfect sense for us to go in this direction. I'll support the request.
Okay. Mr. Chair, the only thing I didn't ask, and maybe I'm missing it, what's the logistics look like? Do they go to UCAP or do they come to?
No, they go right to UCAP, and so
we're still in they still have a satellite office in Glencoe then? Or?
Yes,
okay.
yeah, and so so UCAP, they have access to a number of different programs, and so they will make sure that they're screened out for those programs and that these dollars are saved specifically for that homeless youth. So if there's other programs that they'll qualify, that's the beauty of going with UCAP, then they'll access those dollars first. So these dollars are really designated to that homeless youth population where we don't have necessarily funds at this time.
But the convenience for the applicant will be still very easy.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair. And I'll add that not just in Glencoe, but also they have a facility in Hutchinson as well.
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Barrett, I have one question for you, and I always tell myself I won't surprise department heads when they come up with a question, but I couldn't quite get a minute to ask this at a time. So maybe a presentation for our next board meeting if this is ongoing, but with the Farm Bill not being passed and many food programs tied to that, what do you see changes or risks at all? And again, I apologize, I put you on the spot, and maybe it's something you want to talk about the next time we get together.
I certainly can talk about it next time we get together. I'm not prepared at the moment.
Yep, sorry about that.
Nope, that's okay. Be happy to come back and visit that.
Okay. All right, next we'll go to information technology. Matt, before you begin with this month being Cybersecurity Awareness Month, we know that is a very important task that you and your department have to deal with daily, so thank you for your efforts in keeping the county data safe.
Yes, thank you. I have 4 requests this morning. The first one is consider approving a 1-year agreement for maintenance and support on our MyTel phone system from Katie Business Technologies, Plymouth, Minnesota, at a cost of $46,382.16 with funds from the information technology budget. This agreement includes all support and upgrades, as well as moves, adds, or changes not estimated to exceed 8 hours per move, add, or change. A move, add, or change that is estimated to exceed 8 hours will be quoted as a project with an hourly rate of $175 an hour and time and a half for after hours. A second quote was obtained from Zale Group, formerly Allstream, of Boulder, Colorado, who is the current vendor that provides the support, for $27,747 for 1 year. This quote does not include labor for upgrades or moves, adds, or changes. Labor for upgrades, moves, adds, or changes would be billed at a rate of $290 per hour, time and a half for after hours. Based on billable items for current and past years, it is estimated that we will incur costs for billable items of about $19,520 during this agreement. Adding these costs to the cost of the maintenance and support agreement, I expect the Zale agreement to cost the county about $47,267, which exceeds Katie's quoted amount. The average billable items with Zale range from $12,000 to over $18,000 per year. I have further information on this, the summary of costs as well as estimates and quotes on how I came to that conclusion listed in the packet if you wish for me to go over it.
Mr. Chair, thank you for laying all that out. Sometimes that doesn't happen, so I appreciate that, and I would move to go with IT Director's recommendation under item A.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Nagel, second by Luthens, to consider approving a one-year agreement for maintenance and support on our MyTel phone system, the Caddy Business Technologies. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Second item, consider approving a quote for 3 years of telephone service from Zayo Group, Boulder, Colorado, at a total cost of $48,731.76, paid monthly at a cost of $1,476.72, plus taxes, fees, long distance overages at 2.5 cents per minute, incoming toll-free minutes at 2 cents per minute, and international calls at market rate for the call destination with funds from the county communications budget. Their quote also includes incentives in the 2nd, 13th, and 25th months. Additional quotes were received from Nuvera, Newell, Minnesota for $1,712 per month, for a total of $61,632 over 3 years, and Katie Business Technologies of Plymouth, Minnesota for $1,928.66, plus $5,990 in one-time installation costs, for a total of $75,421.76 over 3 years. A quote was also requested from the current service provider Lumen, formerly CenturyLink, but was not received. Based on the historical long-distance overage usage, long-distance overages are estimated at approximately $75 per month, and incoming toll-free are estimated at about $30 per month. International calls are rare, but are sometimes required and are difficult to estimate due to rarity of these calls. This new agreement is approximately $3,000 savings per month for the county over the current service with Lumen and Nuvera. Our current telephone services use copper-based lines, which are being phased out by telephone companies. This new service uses fiber optic-based lines.
Okay, thank you for that. For the details, is there questions, anyone? All right, I'm gonna make a motion to approve.
I can second it.
We have a motion by Wright, a second by Nagel to approve a quote to 3 years of telephone service from the Zayo Group at a total cost of $48,731.76. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Your item C.
Consider approving a quote from Katie Business Technologies, Plymouth, Minnesota for MyTel software licensing to support the change from copper-based phone lines to fiber optic-based phone lines at a cost of $7,467.94 with funds from the information technology budget. Katie has stated that the labor would be included with the maintenance and support plan they quoted. A second quote was received from Zayo for $11,343.66. Due to the way that MyTel handles purchasing and licensing, only the vendor of record for maintenance and support can process this order. So this order would be placed after the new maintenance and support agreement is in place. That was just approved in item A.
Okay. All right, any questions on this one? Item C.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? I will second that. We have a motion by Kruger, second by Wright, to consider approving a quote from Caddy Business Technologies for a MyTel software licensing to support the change from the copper-based phone line to the fiber optic-based phone lines at a cost of $74.67.94. Is there any further discussion? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item D.
Consider approving the state contract quote from Metro Sales, Mankato, Minnesota, for 2 copiers at a cost of $20,531 with funds from the Recorders Technology Fund and E911 Fund. 1 copier will be for the Auditor Treasurer's Office, and 1 will be for Sheriff's Dispatch. The current copiers are about 7+ years old and have begun to require more frequent maintenance. While parts are still available, we have been notified that parts may not be available much longer.
Mr. Chair,
But
I think the government center efficiencies are proving themselves because I think we used to buy a copier every other meeting.
Yeah.
Is what it felt like, so thanks for that, but I'll move to approve this request.
we have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Nagel, second by Kruger to consider approving a state contract quote for Metro Sales for 2 copiers at a cost of $20,531. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Employee relations.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I have one item before you, and it is to consider the Personnel Committee recommendation to approve up to a 12 weeks unpaid medical leave for one-time, full-time support enforcement aid. This leave is for a new employee who does not yet qualify for the Family Medical Leave Act, which an employee has to have worked for at least 1,250 hours during the 12 months preceding the leave in order to qualify. Approving the unpaid leave secures the position for a current full-time employee.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Nagel, second by Kruger to consider the Personnel Committee's recommendation to approve up to 12 weeks of unpaid medical leave for the full-time support enforcement aid. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Now going to county administration, beginning with our calendars. Commissioner Nagel, you ready to go?
Yep, thank you. Thanks to our cybersecurity, Matt's got me on a different calendar here, so thanks, Matt, because I miss enough meetings the way it is. Now jumping between 3 different calendars, it's been great. But the highlights I'll give you is the workshop from the after the last meeting, which we discussed several things, but we voted on today. The subsidy for the small business at the recycling, which I think is an issue that we needed to get addressed. While I know the JD18 meeting was in the prior report, 2 weeks, I have been getting some phone calls. It's a system that runs through the district that I represent, and Commissioner Kruger nailed it. I was going to bring it up now. That was a very well attended, and the participation was good, and the attitude and everything throughout that meeting was great. And we were able to get some things done, make some compromises, and come up with some resolutions. And I've just been following up on that over the last couple of weeks. And then last night, attended along with a couple other commissioners, attended the annual township meeting, where we discussed a variety of issues and listened to their thoughts and concerns as well.
Okay, after our last workshop session on the 25th, we had economic development meeting on the 27th. ARPA committee made some recommendations, and our budget committee met after that. And last night attended the annual McLeod County Township meeting, which Commissioner Nagel had mentioned. That's
All right, on the 21st, I had a Trailblazer meeting in Buffalo, pretty much discussing health insurance increases, and we had some policy issues on all our cities that we cover, and expanding coverage. On the 25th, at an economic development meeting. On the 27th, budget committee, and then we had our CRF meeting before that, and I also had an HRA meeting. They're also discussing we received some ARPA funding and a progress report on getting furnaces and air conditioners put in on the 26th. had a Buffalo Creek watershed meeting. And I commented earlier that on the 28th, I had a UCAP meeting in Redwood Falls. They sat in for Mr. Smalls. On the 29th, I had a drainage stakeholders meeting. I'm on a drainage work group, and that's a number of us in outstate. I'm basically based with agriculture on some strategies of trying to get a policy with some compromises to the legislature by February. The SWCD board meeting was on the 2nd, and as was stated, our township meeting last night, our county townships meeting in Biskie last night, it was fairly well attended, I thought, for the number of farmers that are back in the field. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Since our last board meeting, we held a workshop after the meeting. And then that afternoon, I had a well-being committee meeting that I attended by Zoom. On Thursday, the 21st, we had our CHB meeting in Hutchinson. And then last week, I'd like to thank Commissioner Kruger for covering the UCAP meeting for me. On Thursday and Friday, the 28th and the 29th, I was at a SHAC retreat. SHAC is State Community Health Services Advisory Committee. What the committee is working on is a work group came with a plan to distribute the funds, the increased funds that the state legislature has put in front of us. There was some concern about the process of distribution of funds in grant writing at previous meetings. And what this work group did was tried to formulate a plan where it's equitable without grant writing. It seems as though most of the stakeholders were on board with the plan, and it'll go before the SHAC joint power or work or the SHAC representatives back in our next meeting in December. And that brings us to today, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioner. The 19th, we had a workshop. On the 21st on Thursday, CHB meeting. It was really a good one. Barrett answered a lot of questions for us. 22nd, I did a little road trip over by John Deere and Glencoe, checking on that culvert that goes underneath Highway 212. Bill does it. Thank you.
Okay, back to County Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item A, consider approval of the Evaluation Committee and Personnel Committee recommendation to update the wage grade for Corrections Officer from grade 140 to grade 150. Upon review of the position description and updated duties, the Evaluation Committee found that the position duties warranted an increase to the job grade. This wage grade change would be effective after the current pay period. During negotiations, we did agree with the union that we would review this position. And if you have any questions, I'd like to answer them.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve.
I'll second
it. By Kruger, a second by Nagel, to consider the approval of the Evaluation Committee to update the wage grade for Corrections Officer from 140 to 150. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
I'm in favor of this, but I wanted to bring up that we did discuss or ask the question for budgeting purposes if we could wait to the first of the year, and we can't. It's something we need to do now when we approve this. So I've been assured that the budget can handle this increase, and but we did do our due diligence checking into that.
Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I just want to make a note for the employees affected by any grade change that that is handled completely separately with any wage changes, and you'll hear from your supervisor Item B, consider approval of the evaluation committee and personnel committee recommendation to update the wage grade for sheriff deputy from grade 160 to a grade 170. Again, reviewing the position description and updated duties, I did have conversation with the union negotiation committee did as well, and the evaluation committee found that the position duties warranted an increase to the job grade. Again, it would also be effective after the current pay period.
Move to approve. I'll second it.
A motion, motion by Nagel, second by Kruger, to consider adopting the evaluation committee's recommendation to set the wage, update the wage grade for sheriff deputy from 160 to 170. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item C, consider approval of the recommendation from the Budget Committee for purchase of a new Bobcat T770 skid steer at a cost of $89,561.76. This would utilize coronavirus relief funds from the miscellaneous county allocation. If you'll remember at the beginning when we had the ARPA, the American Rescue Plan Act funds, we allocated $50,000 to for Colleen to use as seen fit for the county, and that balance right now is $17,189.44. So this would use the remainder of that. In addition, use a local assistance and travel consistency fund allocation where that balance is $72,372.32. Those funds can be used for anything that government would essentially use regular revenue for. That's Fund 25-003. The current skid steers are not a fit for the work that needs to be performed by Public Works on the right-of-way and for trails and parks. There's 2 current skid steers in the fleet. There's a 2013 Bobcat T550, and that would be transferred to parks for use. And then the 2002 John Deere 93 model would be placed on min bid for sale. Purchases using the miscellaneous county allocation and the LATCF allocation of funds can be made with recommendation from the Budget Committee. Those do not require a review by the Coronavirus Relief Fund Committee.
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
Just, does this, by transferring one of them to parks, does that add to their fleet there? I mean, I'm fine with it, or are they just borrowing from Public Works right now, although I get they're under the same umbrella.
So go to Ian, we'll be selling, Mr. Chair, we'll be.
Yeah, I read, I'm just asking if we're keeping one at parks also. I just can't remember the numbers, so they'll be.
I know it sounds confusing, Mr. Chair, and I'll grab it if unless you want to go through it, that you really need to look at all the way up to E on these points here. We discussed it quite a while, and I feel that we did a really good job of updating our fleet, getting it. It wasn't just updating to do this forestry machine. Takes a little horsepower and a better machine. I think we did a prudent and good job here of updating one, getting rid of one. It's all laid out here basically, but you got to consider tying them all together as we go through here.
Would you like me to read them all and you can go back and vote, or?
No, that's fine with me.
Okay.
I'm just trying to, not everybody's reading what we're reading either. So, yeah. So just clarifying the numbers as we go through it.
There's the one that's going out for sale. I mean, I don't want to say it's, a skid loader is always valuable, but it's been used well, and we went to tracks. When you're starting to work on trails and whatnot, a wheel machine does really leave marks when you're working around. There's a whole host of reasons here.
Doug, I'm in favor of it, but I'm just trying to keep the numbers straight.
Well, I'm more for the public and we did a good job of using our ARPA funds to stay away from levy funds as well.
Mr. Chair, I'll move request, and as was stated, I think we'll see, that there is a need for a more powerful machine. If we are talking about adding a forestry head to it, these need horsepower, these need hydraulic capacity, and we'll get there. We'll get there in the next item or two.
Okay. We do have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Schmal, second by Luthens, to consider the approval of the recommendation from the Budget Committee for the purchase of the new Bobcat T770 skid steer. I'll just go, as I watch this proposal come together, I'm pretty impressed with our staff and our delegates that we have sitting on our ARPA committee. First Public Works, you know, this package deal that we're kind of go through in 3 different steps. We want to call it losing the battle to keep the trees out of our road right away, and how do we do a better job with that and a safer job in being able to invest in a machine with a forestry head is an awful lot safer and cost-effective way of trying to keep these trees down than you know, sending our guys out with chainsaws and wood chippers. And it's, sometimes we've actually had to hire outside help in order to get this done. We noticed that within our parks plan, there's a lot of indication about increasing some of the walking trail ability through our parks, and so then we can now spread that usage of this machine out, not only within our typical highway department use, but to be a benefit to our park system as well. So I think we're getting the job done better. We're getting it done a lot safer. So then as we go through, we're noticing we're getting rid of one older machine. We're seeing this now because it's going to probably take anywhere from 3 to 4, maybe even 5 months to get this stuff in. And if we do get an open winter, we could be doing some work. So we want to at least get things ordered. So again, a lot of creative work put together on funding this to keep this purchase not directly impacting levy dollars, and I'm fully in support of it as well. So glad to see all the discussion about it and how we can use this. So any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. Item D, consider approving the sale of a 2002 John Deere 93 model skid steer at auction on mid-bid.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? I'll second. We have a motion by Kruger, second by Wright, to consider approving the sale of the 2002 John Deere 93 skid steer on min bid. Is there any, sorry about that, is there any discussion? Will then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item E, consider approval of the recommendation from the Coronavirus Relief Fund Committee and the Budget Committee to use up to $45,000 of the American Rescue Plan Act funds allocated to McLeod County Parks and Fairgrounds, which is a total allocation of $2.65 million, toward purchase of forestry equipment, including a drum mulcher at an expected cost of $33,880.58, and a forestry application kit for a skid steer at an expected cost of $10,666.66, and an estimate of $44,347.24 total. That'd be from Farm Right Equipment in Dassel.
Move request, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Schmal, second by Luthens, to consider approval of the recommendation of the Coronavirus Relief Fund Committee and the Budget Committee to use up to $45,000 of the ARPA money allocated to McLeod County Parks and Fairgrounds. Any further discussion? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item H, consider assigning Liz Danielson, McLeod County Economic Development Coordinator, as a Community Housing Development Organization representative on the Southwest Minnesota Housing Partnership Board of Directors to serve low-income and underserved communities in McLeod County. Danielson currently serves on the SWMHP Board of Directors, but is not a designated CHDO representative. Minnesota Housing requires them to maintain a number of those representatives on its board. Danielson is eligible to be a representative on the board of directors as her role of economic development coordinator addresses the housing needs of the county.
Okay. Questions, comments, anyone?
I would move Liz's appointment.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Kruger, second by Nagel, to consider assigning Liz Danielson, McLeod County Economic Development Coordinator, as Community Housing Development Organization representative on the Southwest Minnesota Housing Partnership. Any further discussion? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Item F, notification of a special meeting following the board meeting on Tuesday, October 17, 2023 at the McLeod County Government Center, 520 Chandler Avenue North, Glencoe, Minnesota, for the purpose of a McLeod County Highway Road Tour. We will depart from 520 Chandler Avenue North, Glencoe, Minnesota. in typically a Trailblazer vehicle for that road tour.
Okay. We're now to the part of our agenda where we're at open forum or press relations. Do we have any questions of the board today from either anyone attending or from the press? Okay.
How about from the board? Just have a comment, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I'd just like to thank the board for, I wanted to notice the consent agenda item F that I appreciated passing, and I didn't know the format to appreciate it in, but it's a split to do housing, and I think we need more of that in McLeod County, so I appreciate the work and getting it done.
Okay, very good. Anything else? Our next item will actually be to go into a closed meeting, so if there isn't any other concerns or questions, we'll be looking for a motion to go into that closed meeting. And that will be on the 2024 McLeod County Health Insurance contributions. Looking for a motion?
Motion to enter in a closed meeting.
Second.
We have a motion by Kruger, second by Schmaltz to enter into a closed meeting covering the 2024 McLeod County Health Insurance contributions. Any discussion on that? We'll proceed.
Up 6.6% since July.